The problem with the recording for the last bro level we did was that I used a program that combined the audio stream.
That's a problem.
So I couldn't separate it, so I couldn't levelator anything. I couldn't do any type of fixing. So if we do another one, I'm definitely going to go through Game Capture and not Open Broadcaster.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, insofar as I don't know what those things are, but contextually I get it.
Well, one's for, like, more for streaming content, and one is more for recording content.
Oh, now that you mention it, that feels about right. Didn't you mention up front that it was the thing you used to stream?
That's correct. But I was able to make that awesome, hilarious banana joke.
Me, yes.
Take these off so I can hear myself.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're going to wear them the whole time, like you're an ASM artist, trying to make sure that there's no, like, crazy feedback in the background of their thing. Because that's what, if you're an ASM artist,
I don't have anything to crumple. I was going to just, like, put crumply paper right here. It's like, you need to relax, bro.
You don't need here, you've got a can. Crinkle the sides of the can. Slower. Much better. And you can do some tapping.
Are you relaxed yet?
Gotta sleep! This is the worst ASMR video ever, but the girl in it's, like, really hot. Subscribe!
Oh, God. Welcome to the Artist and the Economist podcast.
Hello.
I think we're at episode 23 now.
That sounds about right, which is crazy, because if you'd asked me to guess ahead of time...
Excuse me.
You're fine. Edit that out. And back in. The trick is there's going to be no edits. It's just going to sound like I'm an idiot. 23, if you'd given me a guess as to how many we'd done, I wouldn't have guessed 23. I'd have guessed lower.
Yep. But the last one we did was the slightly secular. Well, the last one we really did was the bro level for Sonic Mania, which we talked about as we did it, where I was like, this is awesome, because it feels good to be doing this again.
Yeah, it does.
But
or did.
A whole lot of pertinent things have happened over the course of 8 months.
True.
As life often does happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted us to have just one podcast where we kind of just sat back and kind of recounted this, like, the 2/3 of the year that it's been, and talk about some shit.
Cool, man. I'm into it. Shit, dude. I'm just over here. I just realized I leaned away from the mic. That was a bad idea. I was going to say I'm over here chilling, but then, like, it would have been too chilling.
I'm all the way over here chilling?
That sounds like a great idea, bro.
Yeah, so let me just talk to you about this stuff. Alright.
I think that's fine.
Just like there's no talking, I'm just responding like, oh yeah, you did do that. Like, that would be hilarious. But,
oh, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, do we want to do, like, a going first or flip a coin or something?
I don't care. I'll let you decide. It's your house.
Flip.
What?
Continue or game over.
Oh, I have to call it?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick game over because I'm a nihilist at heart, and secretly every day I wish for a release from life.
You're going to die tonight. That's not what the coin's supposed to say.
What's this? Oh, thank God. Oh, no.
Could you imagine if someone got told that and they're just like, yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. I've been praying for this.
I've been praying for this. Oh, you mean it?
Like, death is just pointing at them and he's just kind of like...
Yeah, they do the thing where they, like, look around like, what? Me? Like, they're all, like, bashful.
I'm going to put in a GIF that is perfect for this.
Oh, hell
so
yeah.
Hold on. It's this. Look at this.
I can't believe you just, like, had that.
Yep.
Right there.
Mm-hmm. It's the same thing that I remember talking to you, and we were at coffee with Dad on a long Sunday ago. Mm-hmm. Friggin', y'all remember back in the while ago when we was at coffee. But
Me do.
But I mentioned this old Atari commercial where there's like it's cutting between like game footage and people, and there's spiel the entire time, and it just cuts to this one black dude who just points to the camera like, "Now you're talking."
Really?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And I thought that shit was so funny because in my mind, like whenever like I emphatically agree with someone, I think about, and I'm trumping right now with my hands, I swear to God. But whenever that happens, I think like, I'm like, now you're talking. And I hear that in my mind. I'm just like, where is this commercial? And I finally found it again. And I still fucking love it. It's for the Atari 5200.
Wow.
But anyway.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, and it's just, I'm like, man, the 80s.
Yeah. It's funny how, like, just in general, and I think there's a broader tie-in to the point of this podcast, which is effectively, if I may, about the passage of time and the way things change. It's so funny to think back, even on the 80s. Like, let's call it the 80s. That commercial is a great example. You look at that then, you think about now, immediately your mind's just like, what the fuck? What was this? Who thought this was a great idea? Who thought this was even a passable idea? How did we get here? And have we, as a species, failed whatever designer created us in unimaginable ways?
I think about that every time I play Shadow the Hedgehog.
Okay. I was going to say explain, but I'm not sure it would help.
No. But, yeah, I think that's a pretty good summation, so... what do you say we just jump straight in? Because you won the You're Gonna Die time.
Hell yeah.
So you better get your story down before it happens.
Or what? What are you gonna do? Keep me alive?
We'll be right back.
Yes. Hell yeah.
So, yes.
Secretly, the thing that... Here's some inside baseball for all you listeners.
I don't even like baseball, but I'm captivated.
The thing they never tell you about podcasting, unbelievably easy. It's just so easy. You just need to find a brother who sets everything up and has all the equipment and does all the hard work. And then you, as an individual, just kind of show up and then do it, and then you forget about it forever. It's so easy. Why doesn't everyone do this?
Yeah, I really should do that, shouldn't I?
Yeah. What? No, I don't want to count it. No, you're doing great.
Oh god.
You keep doing what you're doing. You're the meat in this podcast sandwich. I'm just the useless bread.
Because if you don't have the bread, meat just falls on the floor, gets all over there.
Well, no, I'm not going to eat this sandwich.
It's not even a sandwich.
I like the idea that without bread, the ingredients just like all fall on the floor. Like you would put them on a plate.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's like one of those fucking infomercials.
You cup your hands. Someone like squirts mustard onto your hand.
A sandwich without bread is a sandwich. Meat with mustard on your hands.
It is very infomercial-y.
Oh god.
Damn it! Oh.
Thanks, sandwich in a can.
Ew.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's up, man? What's going on?
Well, according to the coin flip, which totally happened, I would like to start with you.
Okay.
Like, from January onward, like, how has the year been treating you?
It is weird. I don't remember. I feel like last time we did one of these, I probably said roughly the same thing then that I'm going to say now. But it's interesting that this is in equal parts the best year of my life and very easily the worst year of my life.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. Like, I was thinking about it the other day. So, at work, I just won Employee of the Quarter.
Nice.
Which is pretty exciting.
Love it.
Love it. Gotta have it. It's very exciting. It's very humbling. I was not expecting it in the slightest. So, it's great. That's all great and everything. Work, it's in and of itself, is going great. My personal life in general is just in a good and happy and relatively healthy place. That's all positive. And I don't mean to brush over the positive, because it's also very important, obviously. But
definitely.
At the same time, like when I started this year, I had a broken hand. Did I tell you I have broken my hand? Can I still do that bit? Almost a year later.
It's the middle of August, and you never told me.
I never told you, even though this happened last November.
You fucking asshole.
Well, look, man. I don't have to tell you everything. It's okay for people to have secrets, okay?
You say that with your healed hand or not at all?
Wait, what? My hand is healed. I don't understand. Oh, no! You guys probably didn't see or hear it, but I just got slapped hard. Trust me. Oh!
My hand's broken.
Oh, not again!
The fucking doctor, what's his name? Shit. No, Quaffio. Man has let me down again. Why? Why do I keep relying on him? Is that a Dan? Man has let me down again. It's like Meatwad with hair.
I was like, oh no, the voice machine is on the fritz.
That man has let me down again. Why? Why do I keep it? What the hell? The voice machine. That's me.
I know. That's who I was pointing at.
Ah, there we go.
Nice one.
Party again.
Anyway, I came into the year with a broken hand, which...
How dare you?
I have to... I'm sorry, I'll do better next time.
It will be.
And it made it, as you might expect, hard to type, which in a job where you spend all of your day on a computer, not just typing, but using Excel, and doing a lot of database-y type stuff, makes it pretty hard. So we had that happen. And then in late January, we lost our grandfather. And then in April, we lost Hannah.
No, it was in May.
May.
Because it was right before, it was after Mother's Day.
Okay.
Hannah was our lovely, wonderful golden retriever.
Yes. And it's been, so in that sense, it's like, all right. Well, and also, up until, like, very recently, for the last several months, I've been alternatingly crippled, quote unquote, with a like foot and ankle problem that makes walking difficult.
Yeah. As
a result of a super, super like tight Achilles, which isn't a thing that happened like a one-time thing. It's just like a thing that accumulated over time. In any case, like it's been a pretty shitty year in a lot of pretty meaningful and like hard to process ways. So I think the fact that it's also been a great year speaks a lot, A, to where I am just mentally in general, but B, like, kind of just the idea of life, you know?
Yeah.
And I realize that's a pretty broad brush to paint with.
Well, it's the trope. It's the pause, the deep breath, and it's like, it really makes you think. It's that thing.
It is. So. But here's the funny thing. A thing that I never thought I would find myself appreciating. But as I've gone through therapy, I've really grown to appreciate cliches. Mm-hmm. Because you hear these cliches that people spit out at you. Yeah. Like, what's a good example?
It is what it is.
Yeah, that's a great example, actually. You'll hear people spit that out, and for the longest time, my reaction was, yeah, go fuck yourself too. Like,
yeah.
Thank you for this very not thoughtful, rote, automated response.
Yep.
You know, thank you for not taking any time to actually meaningfully listen to or help me address my own issue.
It's like the thoughts and prayers whenever like something bad happens. It's like, I get the sentiments there, but fuck you.
Right. And so for the longest time, that was my attitude. But then
it sounds so ungrateful too, because you're just so used to hearing it.
Right.
You're just like, okay, what are your thoughts and prayers done? And B, what makes you think that that's applicable to me now? Especially like if you know the person or if you care about the person, you're just like, this is really the amount of thought you put into this, huh?
Right. And so it bothered me for a really long time until I grew to realize like, oh, I'm thinking about these the wrong way, and that I'm not actually appreciating them for what they are meant to represent. You know what I mean? Like, instead of seeing it,
right.
A lot of, I'll put it this way, a lot of life, a lot of the way you feel and the way you react and the way you process things comes from how you frame that thing. It's about your perspective. And if you can learn, and it's not easy, and it takes time, and it takes practice, a lot of practice.
Yep. Not a game.
With all apologies to Helen Iverson, not a game. I am talking about practice. it takes a lot of work, but if you can train yourself to start reframing things in your life a little bit, even just a little bit, it makes the way that you feel about those things a lot better. And then you start to see, and this has come up time and time again in my work in therapy and sort of on my own, you start to see the wisdom in cliches, and it's like, oh, I get why this became a cliche.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's a little bit like the argument you'll hear people make where it's like, there's no good music anymore. The music from the 80s is what's good.
Or the 70s or the 60s
right.
or the 50s.
And it's like, no, the music that you hear from the 80s now is good. There was a lot of utter garbage released in the 80s. Yep. You just don't hear it anymore because it doesn't have staying power.
Yep.
And that's how I feel about cliches now. Like, yes, they're a little bit rote, and yes, they can be a little bit dismissive as a response to a problem. But the reason that they've survived as long as they have, and the reason they're still part of our lexicon overall, I think, is because of the wisdom that they contain if you focus on them the right way. I think that's been the biggest thing that I've taken away from the last year or so in general, and I would also call it the thing that I think gives me the most, not necessarily joy, but
like a reassurance,
contentment, reassurance, peace, if you will,
sure,
on like a day-to-day basis now.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
That's good.
Well,
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, because like I was kind of in the same boat too. It's like the very examples I gave you as to why those things hurt in the first place were all the same feelings that I'm pretty sure I've had in the past. Where it's like, I empathize with people pretty naturally,
right.
So I understand when people feel like they don't have anything to say, but they feel like they either need to say something. It can come off as token.
Yep.
But it's that idea of, again, seeing from that perspective, like. It's like spending time with someone.
Right.
It's like, well, what are we going to do? We can do this, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. But after a while, like, it starts to become routine.
Right.
If you do it long enough or do those same things over and over again. But the actual perspective you need to be looking through is that you're actually spending time with this person who is making the time to spend time with you.
Right.
And that's what the real takeaway is. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. And you can try new things or just do old things, but the whole core of that is that you're spending time with this person that you like, care about, love, or, slide in any relationship you can possibly imagine. Mm-hmm. So it's not something to sneeze at when you're like, because it's a perfectly normal reaction to be like, I'm bored.
Right.
But it's not a perfectly normal reaction to be all like, I'm bored with you.
Right. I agree with that. I think that's more than fair. I would totally agree.
Yeah. So, interesting 8 months.
I would say so. I would say that outside of the, catastrophic elements, mm-hmm. my life is generally much more stable than yours is in terms of being defined by upcoming change. 'Cause I'm just in the same job, and that level, I'm in a relatively stable position for the time being.
Right.
Which I think helps a lot.
Like my voice is cracking. I'm sorry.
Mine's been doing that too lately, actually.
It's the weather.
Is it?
I'll bet.
That would make a lot more sense to me than
this is going to date the episode.
Second adolescence. Anyways, that's been my year.
All right.
Content. We're pretty good at it.
I would love that to be a tagline.
Dude, can I just say also...
question, like, content, question mark? Maybe, question mark. Oh, God.
Can I just say, I know this is off topic. I apologize for this rare deviation. One thing on the internet and in general that really drives me crazy is when people will talk about the stuff they make as content.
Yep.
It drives me so nuts. It's such a, like... It happens a lot with YouTubers that I watch and certain people on Instagram. I assume it happens everywhere, but it's always like, it's just I want to put my content out there. And it's like, you fucking way to commoditize the thing you're doing and rob it of all of its like inherent beauty
and integrity too, because like if you are a musician on YouTube, if you use the word content and not music, I think something's wrong.
Exactly. And like if you like, well, and the other thing that kills me, and this is a little bit less frequent but more infuriating, is when people will talk about, like, you'll see those like Instagram celebrities or whatever, influencers. Oh, it drives me nuts. It's like Jamila Jamil, who you might better know as Tahani on The Good Place, did an interview a while back where she was talking about the concept of influencers, and she was like, "The fuck are you influencing? Fucking come off it. Basically, she was just like, come off it. You're a tool. This is unacceptable as a human behavior."
It's internet high school.
A little bit. And I was like, good for you. Like, I'm very happy you took a stand on this, because it drives me nuts. It's like, way to break down what's happening in the most like transparently capitalist, narcissistic way possible. Like, you've removed any possible layer of me being willing to suspend my disbelief by being like, hey, I made all my content available behind this paywall. It's like, cool, thank you, artist.
Yeah.
Like, it's just way to fucking peddle your wares to me.
That's how I feel sometimes when I think about my Patreon, which I have open right now. Mm-hmm. That's why I've always tried to be really open and acceptable to like anyone, where it's like, hey, $1 or $3 gets you everything and you're going to see it anyway, so
right.
There you go.
Well, and that's one of the things I really respect about Ninja Sex Party, incidentally, who have a new album, speaking of dating the episode.
Out yesterday.
Hell yeah. One of the things I really respect about them is, so they put their new album out, and I plan to buy it anyway, as a support for them.
Uh-huh.
But a big reason why is because they put almost half of their songs out before it came out anyway, and it's available for free on like Spotify and stuff.
Yep.
It's not like it's like the opposite of when Beyonce's Lemonade came out, and it's like, Tidal. No, you have to have a Tidal subscription to get this, and it's like, fuck off, you fucking tool. Like, this is an exclusive thing. It's art that people aren't worthy of having unless they're willing to pay extra for it on this premium service. It's like, god damn it, that makes me mad.
I am a person who is in, and we're gonna keep following this train, to me as an artist who is kind of like, who for the longest time was hoping to make a living off of something that I did, there was a part of me that was like, I understand the right and desire to want to have that creative control over who you are and to be in such a position where you could do that.
Oh, for sure.
I think attitude is wholly, like, you cannot separate that though, because there's one thing about like supporting, like, what if you just believed in a service? Like, if Beyonce came out and said like, hey, I hate iTunes and Spotify and all of these services because of their terms of service, or because of what they do to artists, or the little, royalties that the artists get back from these people. And like, I want to go through an actual network that I want to support because I support what it does. I can appreciate that. If you put yourself in a station or see yourself in this station that you are the only one who could be experienced that way, and you have to do it that way.
Right.
It's like the only green M&Ms thing. It's that level of just like, I don't care about the labor that gets involved or who this screws over in the long run, especially my fans. Do what I say. I hate that shit.
Two clarifications that I should make. The first is that green M&Ms thing is it's, I don't remember which band that was. They did that just to make sure their contract was being read. That was like a test that they did, because they'd put all these things in their writer that were like about their actual performance, and then like one outrageous demand, so that they would know if they met the outrageous demand, then like everything else,
like Lunchables, all kinds. I want them all.
Can you imagine? Fucking the Rolling Stones.
Eminem. Freaking Eminem, the rapper. He's like, I like Lunchables. Get me some damn Lunchables.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. You can take the boy out of 8 Mile, but you can't take the 8 Mile out of the boy? Is that weird? That's probably weird. I kind of regret phrasing it that way.
I'm just too busy trying to think about mom's spaghetti. Mom, it's got to go. Okay.
Point number 2. I 100% agree with you that, like, approach and intent matters. And I should clarify that I do not begrudge anyone trying to make a living out there by creating art. Like, it's your prerogative if you want to think about it in very mercantile terms. I don't begrudge you trying to make a living that way. God knows that it's hard enough for anyone out there, particularly an artist or a content creator of any type of content, and I mean that in the broadest sense to cover all forms of it.
Yeah.
It's hard enough out there with, services like iTunes and Spotify and whatever else sitting on top of you and taking a cut, who then take a cut from a different service, and, like, it's difficult. And that's why I think things like Patreon and Coffee and whatever else became these sort of, like, secondary markets for, people who are like, I want to try and do this and make a living doing this. I just can't afford to with the bullshit system that's in place now. Yep. I don't begrudge anyone that.
Yep.
But I think you're spot on when you say that if Beyonce had come out and done, I think that was Taylor Swift's point originally, or something like that, about iTunes, was like, they take way too big a percentage on sales. It's fucking out of control. It's stupid. Like, someone needs to stand up to this. Maybe I'm giving her too much credit. I don't remember exactly.
Right.
But if Beyonce or whomever had done that, different story. Totally different story. Like, check it out. This thing supports an independent voice. It's where I feel best about putting my thing. Yes, I own it, but, like, that way I gotta,
put it on fucking Bandcamp.
Sure. Or SoundCloud, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always respect those, like, pay whatever you want arrangements for things.
I'll tell one true story, then move on to something else.
Sure.
I felt,
my leg.
when I originally played Shovel Knight back in the day, I kind of hated it.
Right.
But I spent like $15 on it. But the thing that everybody talked about in that game was the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I was like, I may hate this game for now, but I love this soundtrack so much, and because I felt entitled to it because I spent $15 on a game I hated, like, I'll pay $1 for this album. And I feel kind of guilty about it, but at the same time, like, I feel I've come around. So.
Well, and I think more important in that specific dynamic is that you paid what it was worth to you at the time, and then I don't have any problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's inherently bad. You paid $1 more than it would have been if you had just downloaded it or agreed to stream it on some service from time to time or whatever. Like,
and God love the person who paid like $10,000 for it.
Well, and that's ultimately kind of the way it balances out, right? Like, well, and that's effectively that's really the balancing act.
I think the thing I was going to say before I thought about that little story was, like, when it comes at the cost of your humanity, it doesn't matter what you do, you're just an asshole now.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a bit more of a bummer than I meant to take it after this, like, positivity is the way you should try to be, and it's all about how you frame things up. I don't remember exactly how we got here, but you know what? I'm happy to be on the journey with you.
Goddamn twommonths. High five to that shit.
No, I meant the high five before you said that. No, now I'm complicit. You can cut this question from the podcast if you want to, and I hate making editing work for you.
Okay.
But have you watched that Drawing Date Game Grumps series?
Yes. Oh my god. We will have words about this, but we will have it off podcast, because my god.
Sure. On that waiter. He's got fucking moves. He's just a big dude. They'll give him. He's got got like a backpack.
He's got a J in his mouth.
Oh my god. I haven't laughed that hard at a series in quite a while. It's so funny.
She's kind of sad, but she's kind of got like the loose shoulder. Oh my god. But yes, we will have words. Count on it.
Please. Yes.
Oh, but, I mean, I was just saying any other pertinent stuff about your time.
No, I think, that's...
Can't just talk about that trip, that trip you took to space.
That you can't space you talk to about trip to the space you took to? No.
Diction.
We have it.
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I figure I'll probably jump in or interject on your part.
Yeah.
I think these things, splitting it up in half it's like a yin-yang. Like, maybe this will be predominantly my section that you jumped into before, and then this will be predominantly yours.
One big wading pool of my bullshit, and then you little tea bag, and like, bloop, and then there's you.
Just to be clear, how do you think people make tea?
Well, when a man loves tea very much, and they shit on the Bible. All right,
so anyway, what's going on, man? How you doing? What's up? Let's rap, okay? Let's
talk.
It's just you and me. You and me having a little tete-a-tete, a little sesh, a little rap sesh. Just what's on your mind?
Why are you not sitting in your chair backwards? Don't fucking.
So
anyway, so it's been strikingly similar to your experience over the year. Like a lot of highs and a lot of lows, as much as life usually is.
Right.
To me, my highest high has been just like the culmination of all of the work I've done for the past 4 to 5 years,
which is pretty exciting.
So I mean,
it's a long time.
To put things in perspective, just from like a numbers game, like. Insofar as what has been involved with that journey, I started this year at maybe 215 pounds.
Damn.
I'm currently like 175 or 4.
Damn.
So...
nothing but skin and bones, this one over here.
Bred out of both necessity and a relentless determination, I have been achieving my goals pretty steadily. And there's more to that story because starting in January, I was at that point. I was meeting my recruiter for another time to talk about like, hey, I think I've reached what I can do. Is there any way you can like just, help my enlistment go through into the Air Force? Because that's been a thing on my mind for the past ever since the existence of this podcast. That has been like a talking point I've had.
Right.
So they said no.
Okay.
Of course not. Like you're 200 something pounds. We're not going to just let you in and hope you can just survive. Like that's not going to happen. So I kind of just planted myself in that feeling of like, I can do this.
Yep.
And for the first 2 months of the year, it was great. I was getting back on track. I was dieting, I was exercising, and I was hitting all of my milestones. Mm-hmm. But I think there was just this kind of boredom and tedium setting in. And
sure.
I think about what happened last year because in 2017, I went to frickin' Finland around that time of the year.
Boosh.
And that was like the feeling, the specter of that feeling was raised. And so I like, okay, I feel like I'm hitting a wall. I need to change. And for a good month and like a half or so, like a good, track of time, I actually ended up living with you for a while.
Sure did. I remember that.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun, and it opened my eyes to a very human experience that I didn't really have because I didn't go away to college, and I didn't really, travel much outside of the Finland trip,
right.
Where I was like, I'm on my own, and I'm an adult now. Like,
right.
It's that very necessary thing to have in your life because it prepares you for,
And when you mentioned the idea to me, because glibness aside, I do actually remember that, you being there.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I did too. And when you first raised the idea to me, my thought was like, oh, that's a great idea, particularly if you are getting ready to transition into a military lifestyle, which will be entirely different from everything you've known. Because even though it is similar geographically and you've known me for a long time, like, there's enough familiarity in living with me that it wouldn't be completely foreign. but I live super differently than what your life is like here.
Yep.
And life there in general was super different. You had to sleep on a couch. You were accountable for sourcing your own groceries. You drank all of my coffee, and then you became accountable for sourcing your own coffee.
Yep.
And at time, I mean, on a personal, from a me standpoint, it reminded me a lot of like, oh yeah, I forgot how to live with other human beings around, and
Expectations,
tidiness, and making sure that, basic apartment style living elements were taken care of and everything.
I think the best sign that I am prepared, or at least conscious of what it means to be responsible and self-reliant and all that crap, is that as soon as I arrived there and I saw like the condition of like appliances, like, grease spots, or maybe something wasn't as, tidy as it should be, I'm like, all right,
which was, yes,
we're gonna scrub this down,
which was super appreciated. And I don't mean to give the impression that I'd have lived like some sort of crazy slovenly lazy man here, but it's easy to lose sight of like, well, who am I trying to impress at a certain point?
It's that feeling that even I have, like, I don't have to dust.
Right. Well, and, there are broader depressive implications in my own case or whatever, but still, like, the point remains, it was good for both of us, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that was really the highest high that I think I had, because it made me kind of open my eyes to what it meant to be human for the first time.
Really?
Well, like, human in that very uniquely American way, where it's like, you should be out of the house by 18 and know how to deal with shit.
Oh, okay. I see that.
And, again, perspectives and, my own glibness with that even analogy, but that was something I felt was wholly missing in my life, even when I traveled and lived in another country across the world for a month.
Right.
Like, there was still some parts where I was like, I can rely on someone else to take care of me a little bit.
Well, and that felt more, I'd imagine, like a vacation.
Oh, definitely.
Than like a lifestyle change or adaptation, so to speak.
Yeah, it was a little bit of both, because, I mean, I had never lived with anyone else besides, folks at that point. So
sure.
It was both experiences were very good. In the long term, if I could just summarize it in the most, it was good. It was good for me.
Yeah.
And it helped, and that was the thing I was going to sequence into, is like the highest high was that, like, I was exercising more dutifully than ever. I was dieting more dutifully than ever. I was responsible for not the upkeep of a home, but like, just kind of general cleanliness and making sure things were put away in the right place. Because it was also a respect of someone else's space that wasn't mine. Because, I mean, it's like, this is my room, you can't go in. There's that bullshit. Especially,
which, to be clear, I did not foist upon you.
Right, no, you didn't.
I know what you mean.
Right,
it's like,
a
very natural, like, this isn't my space.
I'm going to be a good guest.
This is someone else, yeah.
Like, I think that was something that instilled in me a long time ago, and I appreciate that, but it was good to see it, like, part of me, and not like, I'll just throw my dirty clothes on the TV and fuck off. Like, I don't care. Like, I totally didn't do that. So,
on the TV.
TV will watch it. But, like, yeah, like,
you don't get 'em.
Because you hear, like, even if it's, like, kind of, fantasy for those horror stories of like, I put dishwasher soap in the dishwasher and everything bubbled up. Oh no. Like, it's the shit you see in movies and TV and reading books.
Sure.
And whatever. But like, it was a very human experience and I appreciated it. And it made me reopen things like Patreon, and it made me more creative, and it made me kind of appreciate my time more. The time that I was doing things, and even the times where I wasn't doing anything. Like, when I'm in this space, because I'm recording in my childhood room for like the past ever, when I'm here, it's really easy to kind of just let things slip away, or even beat yourself up for not being proactive in certain aspects.
Sure.
When I was away, that feeling was like, it wasn't a feeling bad. It was more of like appreciating the times where I was productive and the times where I let myself relax. Because you need to be able to appreciate both.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
And it's really hard when you're in the same space or in the same mindset to do that. So it was a very personally fulfilling goal to just get out again, and experience that again. So it was really soulfully refreshing.
I want to circle back, pardon my corporate speak. I'll ping you later, but I wanted to circle back on something.
Put a pin on this.
it's let's put a pin in this, not on this. You're not giving it an award. It's like a grenade.
Let's pin the tail on this
Let's
pig.
pin the tail.
Put some lipsticks on this donkey.
I'm gonna start using that at work.
Let's pump the conversation breaks.
I've used that actually. People think that's hilarious.
Oh God.
If you ever throw down something that's like a little out of the corporate veneer or
Give me a
corporate
beat storm.
vernacular, yeah, I used that one too when I was an intern.
Yes.
I was like, sounds like what we need is a good old bee storm sesh. People were like, what? I was like, got him.
Anyway,
I want to circle back to the whole idea of like being out of here by a certain age or going through the process of, moving out and establishing different types of experiences by certain milestones or whatever.
Yeah.
What that all boils, because this is something that's influenced or had an influence on me in various ways over the years, and I think it influences everyone, to be honest.
Sure.
There's a concept that I think goes unchallenged all too often, and that concept is what people should be doing. Because the idea... Well, and it's a two-sided coin, because what you should be doing is, necessarily the opposite side of what you shouldn't be doing.
Yep.
And what it does is it implicitly or explicitly, subtly or overtly, places a value system, a judgmental, value-based system on the actions or situations in your life, and it's not helpful. It's never helpful.
Never.
To phrase things as like, oh, you're 18, you should be out of the house by now. Or, oh, I'm 30, I should have a life partner and be on my way to starting a family by now. Or, oh, you're whatever for a living, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't be the kind of... whatever.
Man.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part.
We talked about cliches earlier, too.
And...
Holy shit.
Right. Well, and it's so ubiquitous, and it's so toxic in a lot of different ways, including, not coincidentally, the idea of, like, masculinity. The idea of, like, this is what you should be if you are a man. Like, you should be... self-reliant and independent, you should plot your own course, and you should be confident and assertive, and you shouldn't be emotional or vulnerable, and, like...
You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head right now.
It gets to the point where, almost literally regardless of the situation, and I've seen people do it, and I've done it countless times myself, because again, we all do, where people will frame things in terms of, oh, I feel like I should be doing X or I shouldn't be doing Y. Once you start phrasing the conversation that way, I think you're already off on the wrong path.
Yep.
Because there's no
you in that sentence.
Exactly. And in your case, it's like, okay, let's talk about, like, if this was your plan, was to head into the Air Force, should you have done that sooner? Well, maybe. If you had, maybe you would have gotten through it sooner, and you would have found a different career track, and maybe a bunch of different things would be better in your life, but it also might not have led you down this other path you're on of appreciation and experiential relationship building and everything.
Understanding, and there's
yeah.
I remember having a friend, and they mentioned to me, like, I thought you hated and regretted going to art school, and I'm like, I hated going to art school because it kept me from what what I heard in my own voice, what I wanted.
Right.
I capitulated to other people to go to art school. Parents.
Yeah.
But I don't regret that experience, because even in the things that didn't work out, or dreams that you think you have, or again, what you should, or what people feel like you should be doing.
Right.
If you don't realize that for yourself, I think it stilts your growth.
Right.
And so
it implies to me that there's only one thing of value, and that's finding the thing that you should be doing.
Yeah, and
it doesn't allow for the idea that the things that you don't like, or the things that aren't great experiences, those things teach you stuff too, man. They shape you too.
It strips this humanity from, like, everything, because it feels like makes life an equation.
Exactly.
And that's pretty much, honestly,
As a robot, I like it, but,
Like, I think I was a victim in that way because I'm like, okay, if I just continue to do these things that people have pretty much charted for me, if I just, pay my dues, so to speak, I'll be fine.
Yes, that's a huge one. I've done all of the work. I should reap the reward.
Yep.
I am entitled to the life that I imagined for myself.
Or people imagined
based on
for
the
me.
effort. Right.
Even
and
in
it's
some cases. Like, god dang.
Well, and
this is just March, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit.
I don't think people fully appreciate that in life, there's like an inherent sense that things will work out to be fair.
Uh-huh.
And that's not quite true. There's just as good a chance that if you do the right thing, you will get the wrong result. And if you do the wrong thing, you'll get the right result.
Uh-huh.
What happens in life...
Capitalism.
Yeah. Truer than you might be comfortable with.
We don't like to take specific stances on this show, but I mean...
All I'm saying is, there's the effort that you put into a thing and the result of that thing don't tie out one-to-one. Yeah. And a big part of becoming a better, stabler, more fulfilled, happier person, at least in my experience, has been realizing that that's okay.
Yep.
And not necessarily even just okay, but also valuable.
Yep. And again, my own joke aside, that was just March.
Yeah.
Seriously, because I mean,
wait until we get to May, bitches.
Oh boy. At the end of the happy ending to that story was that my goal moving to your place was to be conscious of all those things and to diet and exercise and prepare myself because I needed to get underneath 180 to meet the maximum weight for my height in the Air Force.
Right.
I did that.
Boosh, pound it.
Boom.
Yeah.
I hit that goal, and I remember the day, and I actually downloaded the album that I listened to work out the previous day. Like, that, though, like, I tie a lot of stuff to music. Like,
that makes sense.
So, like, I have a soundtrack of my time and my leading up to meeting my goal, and I love that shit. So, I met my goal, and sure enough, when I came home after that, I was ready to chart my course again.
Nice.
And so in the military recruiting kind of station, like, people want you. And so this is kind of how April started, where like I was pursued by both the Navy and the Air Force, and that led
get 'em, Tiger.
And that led to a really weird
courtship ritual.
a really weird mating dance. But like, so it threw a lot of questions at me of like, which way do I really want to go? Because like, even from like this practice test I took talking to Petty Officer so-and-so, I won't give his name.
Smart.
But like, it's
a family name. We so-and-so's are proud Irish.
So-and-so Steen. But anyway, so-and-Steen. That's a good one. Anyway, like it led to this kind of like technical mumbo jumbo where like I was tied up going through one direction when people like trying to lie to me to kind of sign with them.
Yeah.
And it felt like fucking being an athlete for a little bit where it's like,
come
play for us.
Yeah.
Like we got ships.
Well,
like
it's one of the funniest things that I've ever seen is when you showed me that text that the naval recruiter sent to you. And as soon as I read it, I was like, oh, this is all bullshit.
Yeah, this is a
complete lie, like, all meant to manipulate you into believing what he wants you to believe, which is come join the Navy.
Yep, and I'll actually put up no numbers and no like names, but I'll put up a thing on screen at this point in the podcast to show what that text said, because there's a part of me that still kind of looks at it like, really, dude?
That's a great idea, man. It's a great idea.
So
make sure whatever blurring method you use, by the way, is foolproof. People can reverse engineer that if you use the in-phone Apple blurring program.
Spielberg.
What?
It's like my name's Doug. No, it's not. It's Krug.
No.
That's my technique.
Damn it.
They'll never know. Anyway, but I'll do that. Like, I'll make sure. And a cautionary tale to anybody who might be of age or pursuing a certain career, like, use some common sense. Think about it when you hear that kind of stuff. And really, I'm old enough where I'm just kind of like, wait a minute. But like there are some, if I was 18, that would have totally worked on me. That totally would have been like, oh,
For sure.
Really?
Well, and what's interesting about that too, and I realize this isn't anywhere near the point, but I think people also, this is the sermon hour, and I don't mean it to be, but I think people need to trust their own instincts more.
Yeah.
Because I think instincts, although we may not understand them logically, they tend to like protect us more than we consciously know.
I agree with that.
And I think in this case, if you saw that and your instinct, at least at your current age, was like, oh, this is complete horseshit, then it's like, okay, good, way to follow him.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would have been easy to be like, oh man, is he right? That sucks. All right, I guess I'm doing this. And it's like, whoa. Like, you just got fed bad information, delivered maybe not maliciously, but certainly not like
in a way
honestly.
In a way that gains someone else besides you.
Right. And it's like, well, that's super fucked up.
In a way that gains something besides you. In a way that helps someone besides you.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, it's sorry, but I get a little Miami heated about it.
Hey. Way to wade into that topic.
No, we're gonna end it there. So that
way to
was
be on the white side of history. That joke's only works if Hassan Whiteside is still playing there. I think he is.
Wow. I'm just gonna process that a little later. But so anyway, that was the beginning of my final kind of excursion into what has been my 2-year plan. And it was already chaotic and crazy, but the good thing is that I studied and worked hard, and I took my ASVAB test, and I qualified for nearly every job possible for the Air Force.
Yeah, you fucking crushed it, dude.
And, like, I'm not faithful into my test-taking skills, especially my math skills, because, of course, they do that as well in the test.
Right.
But I remember just getting my results, and I still have the sheet of paper that showed me, like, the percentile of score I got, as well as like my general score and like against like the MAGE scores that fit into different like branches of the military.
Mage.
Yeah.
Wizard school.
Woo! But it steadily over the course of these past few months have become more real, and now we're going to sequence into the lowest low here, which was I needed to go to MEPS, which is the Military Enlistment Processing Service, or whatever that anagram is for. I'm going to learn a whole lot more anagrams. Acronyms.
An anagram is when you take letters
Don't
and
worry, we
rearrange
mix them up.
Like
I also have to learn what two different words mean. It's too much. I can't handle it. But yeah, so I went into that process, and I won't go into full detail, but like, they take your blood, they, take your urine, so you're not doing drugs. They're not vampires.
And they don't give it back.
You don't get your blood back. It's our blood now, see? But why did you rob a blood bank? It sounded good on paper. Yeah.
Open up the blood vaults. That's not a thing, sir. Do you think a blood bank is like an actual bank?
I just because like how you have those pictures of like vaults,
yeah,
gold and jewels everywhere. I'm just like, whose gold was who? Like you don't know. And then you go into a big vault, and you're just like, I guess I'll get you a few sacks. And it's like, oh come on. Like I could imagine a blood bank where it's like people doing like make sure to put it in the A pile. It's like. Oh no!
Hey, are these O positives or O negatives? I don't know. I didn't mark them.
Oh dear.
No. Oh man, I'm gonna have to taste all this blood to find out. What? No, we test it. Oh.
Dang it.
This is a blood bank robbery, see?
Give me all the blood and no funny business, see? Oh god. That was fun.
It's just fun imagining things that you call a thing, like how a blood bank isn't like a bank.
I can deposit some blood.
You can't. Hey, can I set up direct blood deposit?
I would like this part amount to go to my taxes every blood month.
Can I get a safe deposit box at the blood bank?
A safe deposit vial. Oof.
Ooh.
There you go.
It's like how the president in
his caddy one.
Yeah, always has like a couple pints of his own blood.
Trump's are probably like gold and have glitter on them. Liquid gold.
Riddled with hepatitis.
And carotene. It's fucking alright. The politics talk is over. But anyway, so I went to the processing station and I did my dues. They took my blood, I did my more tests, like vision, hearing, all sorts of responsive tests, and then it came to the physical test where it was like, they make sure you can function and move your body.
Yep.
And there was one part of the test.
No, damn.
Oh, I would have preferred it. Are you kidding me? Because the story I'm about to tell sucked. So, like, they have a test where, like, I was told about the duck walk, where it's like, okay, you squat down and, like, you know, move heel to toe across the floor to, you know, to make sure basically you just don't have scoliosis. Like, that's the test.
That's what it's for?
Yeah.
How does it... Wait. Scoliosis of the spine?
Yeah.
How does a duck walk prove that?
Well, it's because it's like the sounds like your bones make or some bullshit. But anyway, so we can talk about how stupid these tests are when I tell you why it was stupid.
Sure.
But the second one was the test where like you're supposed to drop to your knees.
Yeah.
And make a thud noise with your knees.
Still don't understand this one.
And then walk on your knees across a tile floor, like, you know, practically naked. And then, like, you know, rock yourself back to stand back up.
Yeah.
I got to that point of the test, and I failed.
That's a bummer, man. You were very distraught, it seemed like.
Like, that was the break out the drinking because there's no other way to feel things. Like, break out the drinking liquor because there's no other emotions that you could possibly feel.
And I only have celebrating liquor. Not good enough.
Yep. So, it hurt me a lot because it felt like, I mean, I'm very much a person who considers every side of things before I, you know, take action on something. I'm pretty thoughtful.
Right.
And
I agree with that 100%.
I'm glad you do, because if you didn't, you'd be like, oh, well, I'm a dick. But, like, so, those questions ran through my head, like, is there something wrong with me?
Right.
Is the test wrong? Is this really how, like, my journey in this whole thing ends? On a technicality because my knees didn't take a punch?
During a weird test that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
In a thing that, as far as you were concerned, and I think we both still are concerned, says nothing about your actual eligibility or viability to the service.
Yeah, and and the thing that pissed me off about it was the idea of seeing everyone else in that room do it.
Yes.
Yeah, like I don't often vent like online or on the internet, but like I've had people who are rooting for me.
Right.
Like the people who are just like, we hope that you achieve your goals, we hope you do this, and just like I actually came out and said like, what's wrong with me? Why is it like, you know, the heavy-set 40-something-year-old dude who's re-enlisting into the Navy, how come he can fall to his knees and walk across and stand back up, and I can't?
Is that really a thing that happened? If so, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep, that happened. And
that would be so frustrating. I didn't know that part.
Yeah, and it's like when everyone else can do something you can't,
right?
And you've trained, like...
It's very natural to feel like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, so that was me for, like, 2 weeks. And, like, you know, the people, like, my family, my friends, they all saw this side of me that was just like, well, everything's over.
Yep.
Everything's done.
Not only was it over, but you were already thinking of escape plans.
Yep.
What do I do now?
Yep.
You know, do I... see if ISIS will take someone who has bad knees?
As Sonic says. But
should I try and move to Mars?
Yeah.
And should I go through that dolphinoplasty?
Become a Twelmonth fan? But yeah, like it hurt me in a way that I had never felt hurt before. Right. And it immediately set me in like I'm glad it didn't keep me down for too long.
Which
like,
is good.
I still, you know, I did my workout and I still dieted and I still took care of myself. Like, it wasn't like, you know, depression where I'm like, draw the shades closed and no one talked to me.
Right.
Like, I'm more resilient than that. But, like, it did put me in a headspace where I'm like, okay, I understand the circumstances. And even though it might be something I don't agree with, it might be something that I think is wholly stupid and, in truth, may never come up again in my life, I'm going to own this.
Right.
And so I actually practiced. I landed on my knees repeatedly in pants, like, you know, protective, like layers of, like, you know, denim jeans pants on concrete and on carpet and on all sorts of things to basically just be like, okay, I need to do this, period. And don't let anyone tell you hard work doesn't pay off. And just do it. Because I did it, and even though I ran into the same problems, and I'm assuming former Marine who was in the room telling me, like, it has to make a thunk, like, you gotta do this. I'm like, I understand, sir, but this happened last time, my knees don't make a damn sound.
Right.
And, like, I took that tone, and I was just like, look, I know what this happened, it happened before, this is not new. And, and so I fought to, be in that position, and the doctor was like, well, when in doubt, send him to boot camp, so I punched my ticket then.
Nice job, dude.
And yeah.
It's rare that you can say this, like, earnestly and honestly, but you earned it.
Yeah.
You worked hard for a long time and overcame a weird late obstacle that, bloodied but unbowed.
Yep.
You rose up against.
Like,
it's well done.
And it got to that point where I told myself, like, if it doesn't work this second time, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not putting myself through another month of waiting. Because
right.
That's how long it would have suspended me.
Well, and that's the
again.
other part, is there's, like, a very real, like, moment to moment. When these stories get told, no one ever, like, wants to hear about, like, the logistical implications, because they're boring and whatever. But, like, there was a very real time component to your thing. Like, it wasn't like, oh, you didn't do the thing where your knees slam and make a noise for some reason, which I still don't understand. Like, come back tomorrow. Try again tomorrow. It's like, no, come back in 2 weeks. And if that doesn't work, come back in a month. And if that doesn't work...
Too bad.
Come back in, like, 3 months or 6 months or never, preferably.
And,
like...
Yep.
There's real waiting time there.
Yeah, and then all of that time is your brain basically trying to convince you that you suck and you're not worth it.
And that's the real, like...
So I think my brain doesn't tell me what to do. I tell it what to do.
Suck a dick, brain.
You hear me up there, asshole? But anyway, so highs high, like from the steepest drop into like despair to the highest rise up into just like apotheosis. Like I hit my goal. It finally was like, stamped, signed on the dotted line. Whew.
Congrats, man.
I say, other than that, it's just been kind of riding that, and I'm still in waiting time, so...
Until you go to what they call basic training.
Yep. So, it's a lot of studying right now, and it's a lot of, staying qualified.
Studying for what?
Like, I have to make sure my reporting statement is correct, I have to make sure that I know ranks and structure, and, like, I'm quizzing myself on that. It's good to know that, like, they have an Air Force song you gotta sing.
Ooh. Air Force... Our favorite Air Force.
We're the women of United States Air Force. We come from planets near and far.
You're a grand old force. You're a high-flying force.
Yes. Yeah, but like, so it's memorizing that and like the Airman's Creed and like knowing ranks and structures and like getting used to military time. And
I think it'd be funny if the Airman's Creed started with I pledge allegiance to the air.
The United Air of America.
Just like that's the part of the Air Force that like matters to the force. Not like the country, but like inherently just like the air.
I pledge allegiance to the air. Yeah, goddamn. That would be awesome.
So funny.
If I make general, that's like, guys. Song's a little old hat.
That makes sense.
If my 4 stars says anything, it's trust me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you the 4-star general? Yeah, no, that's me. You're just General Air Force.
The terror of the force of the air. You're just a 3-star little shit. Anyway.
That makes sense, the studying part of it. Because I would have thought it was done after your ASVAB, but I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, so anyway, it's a lot of that, staying qualified. And up until then, like, I've kind of just put myself to the commitment of just enjoying myself with my time I have left here, because there's been a whole shakeup with, actually negotiating contracts because they give you a list of jobs, and I took the first one that was offered, which was in my 5th pick job.
Okay.
While I was still applying for what was like my 2nd pick job.
Oh.
And because to me it was like, okay, it shows motivation and commitment.
Sure.
Like it shows if you take something and it was on your list and they gave it to you, if you say no to that, there's going to be an indication of like, this guy's a waffler. I don't know about this. But I was like, you know what? I didn't put it down on my list if I didn't think I could end up doing it, so I'm ready to go. and they recognized that. So when I applied for the job I took was pavements and construction. So I'd be doing bulldozer work and digging stuff and setting concrete and building shit all over the world.
Cool, dude.
Wherever the Air Force is has a presence, and that's cool. And
it's gonna be real hard.
Sky Fortress Zone.
I'm gonna have to build a fortress in the air
on balloons.
Keep trying to pour concrete, it keeps falling to the ground.
I feel bad for the ground.
I feel bad for the ground force.
In America, there's the Air Force, the ground force, the water force, and ice.
And ice.
It protects all the ice.
When they're not busy dealing with immigration, they're helping protect ice.
For the ground force, they have to catch that shit.
Whoa, I got him!
Get the bucket!
Get the bucket!
And it's just big stickers.
What is the military doing?
God, this is the people that took Iraq. These are the people who won World War II. Good old ground force.
Yeah, China's over there like, alright, I feel good. North Korea's like, oh my god.
I kind of feel sorry for them. All we have is a missile force.
Yeah,
we only enlist missiles.
This is embarrassing for them.
Oh god, okay.
So what's the deal with your second job then? Is that ever a thing?
So this is what happened. So I'm still laughing about it.
No, I like our tangents.
But okay, I signed up for payments and construction because when you are on a contract, like 4 to 6 year contract, like you can renegotiate toward the end of your contract to stay in the Air Force or to end your contract, and then you can be stop lost if they still need you for something, up to 4 years later. But then that's what you have to negotiate. But if it's possible and you're still interested in doing other jobs, they will allow you to cross-train. So my long-standing dream job in the Air Force was to become a firefighter. Mm-hmm. That was what it was. It was number one on my job list, and it's something that I still think about. So I was like, okay, I'll spend my 4 years, pay my dues, work hard, and be the best, pavements and construction guy that I can possibly be. And when negotiation time comes up, like, hey, look, I really wanted to go into this. Can I do it? And then if it works, great. If not, I have another skill I can use. But
makes sense. I like that. That's a healthy approach to take.
Yeah, and so my second job on my dream list was broadcast journalism because
hell yeah,
I have a history of it.
And you are quite vocally inclined, I would say.
Yeah, and they had me do an actual audition where I read some copy that would be played over
really?
Yeah.
That's sweet.
I read Air Force news statements and here's an announcement from Special Services. And they have you read it's like, how would you like to, spend a weekend fishing on Silver Lake? Go talk to Special Services in Montana.
How would you like to die?
Yeah. So I've looked up, what it's like to be in that field, and sure, but I applied to it. I sent them my audition, and when you're told, don't get your hopes up, it's a dream. It's like a unicorn job. If I put photojournalist down, that's a unicorn job.
Sure.
They don't give that to you after you've had some tenure in the Air Force.
Right.
That's just what they do because they're like, okay, you're a grunt for a while. You go into security forces or services or beginning entry level positions.
It's one of the more, I would say, glamour sounding jobs.
Yeah, you fly in a jump jet and take pictures of the sky and the ground and the pilots and shit. And it's like, okay, you're the face of this organization. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, again, unicorn job, dream job. I applied for it, and I was told it takes 2 weeks to get approved for it because there was one contract coming in, and they gave it to me within a week.
Really?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yep. I got the call. It was a friend's birthday, and I was spending time with them, and I got the call then, and I just told them straight away, guys, holy shit. So they terminated my payments contract, and so I have a ship date now, and it's at the end of October, and it gives me a bit more time to kind of enjoy my time here as I look outside and see the beautiful sunny weather.
I didn't know that part.
I didn't tell you yet?
No.
Oh, fuck.
That's fucking awesome, dude.
You!
That's so cool.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I've told so many people that I kind of lose track of
It's
who
cool.
I tell.
Why would you want to tell your brother and best friend? It's fine. I'm not hurt.
I'm very but
I'm not hurt. It's fine.
so sorry
I'm too happy for you.
Sorry for break bro level exclusive.
No, that's great. This is like you gotta capture my real reaction. This is
I'm not being fake at all.
this is what you want in good internet content. Make sure you hit that bell and that like button, you stupid fucking dog. Dance! Dance!
Become part of the notification squad.
Ring that motherfucking bell or I'll ring your bell. If you don't
I'll fucking jerk you off.
Unless you follow my vlog channel about crab fishing.
Could you imagine someone saying something that's like actually pleasurable in like a you're gonna fucking eat chocolate and you're gonna fucking like it.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Don't do what he says. I have to. I don't have a choice, Sharon.
It's Cadbury. But anyway. Yeah, so
Dude, that's awesome. So your contract is for broadcast journalism.
that's it.
That's fucking awesome.
Yes.
Look at that. What's cool, you know what's awesome, I think, about that in particular, is like
that I'm not in the ground force.
fucking ground force always getting concrete dumped on them from this. Can you imagine? Like, that's what our military does when there's just like no war. Planes, just like they play Pong. The planes will fly around and try and drop a projectile on the ground, and the ground has to stop it from hitting.
Oh my god.
And then the ground will shoot a missile up in the air and try and hit a plane.
Oh my god.
It's like some sort of fucking super troopers military.
What? It's drills.
Yeah. What? It's combat readiness.
Yeah. Gotta be ready in case someone has to play rock, paper, scissors in the sky.
Oh my god. Oh, right. Okay. What I like
The thing we're supposed to be talking about.
what I like about this is that it feels like a very natural and awesome marriage of your dreams and your skills. Mm-hmm. Because for years and years, my feeling was, and not just mine, but several others, I'm sure, was that if you wanted to become a voice actor, like, it was there for you if the situation broke right. Not like you could have done it if you'd applied yourself. I hate that shit. That's a stupid argument.
Follow your dreams and don't be pragmatic at all.
Yeah, it's like, it essentially just says, like, it essentially implies that if your dream doesn't come true, it's because you failed.
I hate that shit.
Yeah, the way that those situations work, it's all time and place. It's all situational.
Yeah, it's like you make your own luck.
Right. But it was never a question of talent. You have a great sense of intonation. You're great at doing voices in general. You have a good sense for production values and what makes audio sound good and bad, which makes it really funny that a lot of bro levels sound shitty. Terrible job.
Which makes it really interesting when you fuck up. Asshole.
Gotti! But yeah, no, I think that makes, like, if you could have picked a route to go, I feel like that's the one you basically would have hand-picked. What was your number one?
Firefighting.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that literally minutes ago.
Firefighting, broadcast journalism.
How do you expect me to remember?
What happened 5 minutes
Yeah.
ago? That's like a John Mulaney joke. How do you expect me to remember something 5 minutes ago?
It's a pretty good Mulaney.
Thank you.
Yeah. What was
Not funny.
What was your third choice?
I think it was emergency services. So that was people who were like emergency response teams.
Oh god, that would have been hard.
Making sure that everyone's supplied so that they can, be in the ambulance and actually have ambulances to use to get to where all the pert people are and help them.
Sweet.
So, like, I wanted to dedicate to a service.
Right.
Like, period. That's what I wanted. I thought firefighting, actual services, like cooking and making sure I'm handing out basketballs at the gym, whatever form it took.
Right.
Like, my goal was to serve, and I think I had that call to duty. That call of freaking duty.
That's why they call it that.
At 17. like I had that thought, and so I thought I'll do this, and then I was told like, wait a minute, Iraq's kind of a thing.
Well, and in truth, I think that makes a lot of sense because I don't think your plan was to go the Air Force route. Then was it?
It was the
you
Marines.
were like Marines,
Marines and Army,
and I think that would have been a different story.
wholly different.
Yeah,
entirely. And I do appreciate, like I said, I went through so many things to get where I am now, and I can't not appreciate it. So
yeah, dude, that's awesome. I'm coming off my own little emotional high of happiness for you.
You can buy me lunch to celebrate.
Don't think I will.
Damn it, almost worked. That's been my year, and it's still being written up until October, and I'm lining up some good times with friends, and we already did a Sleepy Monk trip, which was nice, because we got cheated out of it at the beginning of the year.
Fuck that.
Yeah, that
I was
was
so disappointed.
Well,
that's why I thought it was funny that you gave me so much shit about making sure they were open this time. You're like, they'll be open. I was like, that's what we thought last time.
it'll get them.
Yeah. It's like, really? You want to hang your hat on? You're pretty sure?
Yeah.
It was open, and there were dogs everywhere.
And they all loved being pet.
Oh, it was pretty great.
I liked pet.
I liked the one that came up behind me and licked my calf.
Yep.
I'm like, hello.
This is how we say hello.
Does that taste good? Never understand dogs. Must taste good.
They're the best.
Or at the very least, they must want to know if it tastes good. Like, maybe.
Yeah, and I think I could talk about dogs forever, but I think the best way to end my side of the story is that coming up is the 2nd anniversary that I've been dating my wonderful girlfriend, Jenna.
Hooray! Happy early anniversary.
Yep, so coming up in early September.
That's pretty exciting. What are you guys going to do? Do you have anything special planned? Give up the ghost. Spill the beans, hot shot. Oh no, spoil it for me.
We'll be so drunk we won't remember anyway.
That's, yeah. I said, what are you going to do that's special? That's every day for me. Whoops.
Whoops.
It's like when my buddy Jose and I
think
were...
about a banjo voice like, duh.
Duh.
More Banjo-Kazooie ASMR in a minute.
Wow. Banjo roleplay.
Oh!
Jinjo.
Mumbo jumbo. Oh my god.
What I was going to say.
I'm going to search that on YouTube later because I'm pretty sure that's a fucking thing.
If there is a Banjo-Kazooie roleplay ASMR on YouTube, I will give you $100. There is no fucking way.
Okay.
Someone's gonna hear this live, but they're just gonna go hastily make one where they throw on a little vest and like, da-hop?
Yeah, it's me right now.
Do roleplay complete. 17 seconds.
You did inside Gruntilda's lair, and Banjo agreeing with something. Done. I'm asleep.
Yeah. What I was going to say... fuck, now I don't remember.
Fun.
God damn it, that's so frustrating.
Welcome to bro level.
Yeah. Our standards are just not very high here.
Welcome to bro level. We don't care.
When my buddy and I were getting ready to go on a trip to Chicago many years ago, we planned it, months in advance or whatever, but we wanted to go see Wrigley Field because neither of us had ever been, and we were both big baseball fans, and neither of us had been on, a meaningful vacation in any amount of time.
Sure.
And so we planned this trip to Chicago, however many months out, and as soon as I booked the tickets, I was like, I'm already fucking pre-gaming, dude.
Nice.
For 2 months.
Oh my god.
And yet he is the one who got super drunk on that trip.
Josie.
What do you do? It was a different, simpler, more innocent time.
2017.
The world was so different then.
I think that's kind of like our outro.
Pretty much. I don't have much else to say besides be on the lookout for additional bro level greatest hits potentially coming down the pipe. Potentially some stories, maybe another draft. Who knows, man?
Yeah.
But we've got time left to do it and intention to do it. As a result,
no promise of execution, but certainly intention.
oh, and no promise whatsoever of quality. If you get C- content from us creators,
Content, because it's minus the C.
I'll give that. That's a little like, it's an A- of a joke. I liked that. That was good.
You didn't laugh at it.
I didn't, no, because it made me think. It gave me, look, not all
the
jokes,
best comedy is when it doesn't make you laugh.
any comedian will agree. I don't care if a joke makes someone laugh out loud. If it gives you any sort of response, I think it's landed.
It's like going to church.
How so? People enjoy comedy.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Jesus.
Well, let him in to your heart. He was knocking on your heart the whole time. Come in.
That's the sound bones make, right?
First of all, no. Second of all,
The bone. Your heart, is not a bone.
Not a bone. You fucking monster. Is that why you did so well at math? Is that why your knees didn't make us on at maths? Because you have robot parts? Are you a robot this whole time?
Damn it, they know.
They... Damn it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say at the end.
Oh.
That's why I love podcasts. I like everything we do, but podcasts hold a special place in my heart. Just because it's, especially the ones we don't really super plan.
Yeah.
Because it's fun to see the directions they go.
Yep.
Like, if the course of the topic of the podcast is a straight line, the way the actual podcast looks is like one of those swords that has a bunch of different branches on it. And then some of those branches turn
Pleasure
into
lumps.
Is that what they call them? I don't imagine any soldiers. I don't imagine that catching on with soldiers.
Oh, you're thinking about a serrated bayonet, right?
I'm thinking about that sword from the final murder case of Phoenix Wright 3.
Sword fork.
No, kind of.
You can kill a man and then eat your spaghetti.
While the man is dead. It goes through him, and then you just twirl it on the plate.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy homicide.
Where are we at on a gritty Mario Brothers remake?
Luigi. Yeah, we had another brother in there called Ernest. You gave part of him, but not in the right way, Luigi. Luigi has like a second head, like, what do you mean, Mario?
It's a gritty, not insane. Oh my god, I don't think I can watch that movie.
That wasn't Toad, Luigi. It was my cock.
What?
But what about Toad, Mario?
You...
I'm giving you all these good ideas.
Yeah, but it's really hard to find them in this forest of terrible ones. I don't know where to look anymore.
The Arts of the Economist podcast. I mean, what else?
Can you believe that that's the name that we've stuck with this whole time?
Yep.
We should... Oh, our final thing should be renaming it. Oh, what were you going to say? What was your epiphany?
It's called Two Brothers
Oh, boy.
in a podcast on the internet.
That'll show them.
And sex jokes are coming, and they have guns made out of puns. They have pun guns.
A dated Rick and Morty reference?
On the internet.
Hell yeah.
On the internet.
That's where they live.
Guys. Pickle Rick.
Oh, dude. I want to blow you away with my self-amazing referential humor here, but, a wubble of a dub-dub.
Give me some.
You got it. Here, I'll close it with this.
All right.
My buddy and I were talking about this literally yesterday.
Okay.
I don't understand, and I like both of these shows. So just, that's where I'm coming from at the beginning. But I do not understand why Rick and Morty get so much love from the internet for being this, like, fun, quirky, animated Adult Swim show. And Aqua Teen Hunger Force never got any. I get that they're different. But at the same time, are they really? Like, Aqua Teens was absurd. Aqua Teens was super funny. The real difference, in my mind, there's two main differences in my mind. One is that Rick and Morty is serialized, so people feel like they're part of something bigger. That is like, well, it's absurd, but at its heart, it has a darker actual story to it. And the second is that Dan Harmon is involved. But other than that, I think Aqua Teen's at its peak significantly funnier than Rick and Morty. And again, I like Rick and Morty quite a bit.
Was there a pickle character in Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
No.
There's your answer.
Oh, shit. You got me. No, but there
I just pwned the libs, guys.
You just Ben Shapiro'd me.
Thank you for joining us on the Artist and the Economist podcast, where real thoughts are had,
Yep.
and the real facts are shown.
It's the Artist and the Economist. More news than
Your body has room for.
yeah, more news than you can eat, or more
The Artist and the Economist.
than meets the ear.
Only sometimes.
Yeah, the Artist and the Economist. I mean, we're trying here.
The Artist and the Economist. Wasn't that like 3 years ago?
The Artist and the Economist. I mean, who's it for?
The Artist and the Economist. What's a YouTube?
The Artist and the Economist. Oh, not again.
And on that note, we will see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Or night, or whatever. Take care.
Good night and good fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude, you just fucking... What's his name, did? Chester A. Arthur?
Wilt Chamberlain.
That's the one.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Punks thought they were dealing with amateurs.
Which I think helps a lot.
My voice is cracking. I'm sorry.
Mine's been doing that too lately, actually.
It's the weather.
Is it?
I'll bet.
That would make a lot more sense to me than
This is going to date the
second
episode.
adolescence.
Real man. You become a man and then a real man.
Oh my god, can you imagine? Like, some sort of weird... If the human body had, like, 2 stages of like, true adolescence,
No!
I would be furious as an adult. It'd be
Yeah.
like, well, you go through puberty in your teens, and your skull finishes, like, fully forming, or your brain finishes, like, fully forming and developing in your 20s. But then in your 40s, it's like, nope, fuck it, not getting there. Don't want to do it.
Super puberty.
Super puberty.
Puberty.
It's where you become a hormone-controlled monster.
And you grow even more hair.
No! You become a battery in our network. I mean, you reach your full potential.
I mean, the Matrix isn't real. You didn't hear that.
Don't worry. Save all that precious, precious, delicious energy.
Hormone juice.
It's what we make our perfume. Nothing.
What do we make our happy?
It's just like some alien race. Super unconvincing.
I like the idea of having like an invading force that are so incompetent and like kind of stupid. Or like who use like them for really stupid things. Like the idea of using like, you know, human emotions for different like perfumes.
Yeah, exactly.
God, you can smell the lust. You can smell the obsequiousness. Like, what kind of basic bitch perfume is that?
And then they also just like use like weird phrasing, like obsequiousness, my favorite flavor. And you're like, flavor?
And they're at like a perfume counter in Nordstrom's, like, nothing?
Nothing? What? No, nothing.
This is blackberry.
I do not wish to drink liquefied human organs.
What?
I didn't say that.
It's not like I said we eat puppies too.
I asked where the shoes were. Oh.
No, I'm not an alien.
No, look, my name tag very clearly says Flarksnut.
I mean Clarence.
damn it, I wore the wrong name tag again. Like, why would you have both?
That's why at the alien high school reunion they called me Clarence. Oh, this is gonna be a funny story for us alien mad about you.
Wow. No,
Clem did about goo.
I love the idea of aliens at a 10-year reunion wearing those dumb "Hello, my name is
Kleborb.
Kleborb glass of schmefty cool."
September the 20th.
Oh, this would be
Go fightin' 20th.
that's we don't like to use that term anymore. It was a different time.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
It's like the Space Cleveland 20ths.
Yeah, exactly. Like my grandparents will call something a twelmonth, but I don't like to use the T word.
And don't go
that's
around
not my word.
And don't go around trying to proselytize and say don't say the T word, because that's just as flimbit as anything else is.
Dude, and it's just honestly it's just alien Dan Snyder. He just wants money. In my version of this reality, there's just a regular looking Washington Redskins owner Dan Snyder, but his name is Alien Dan Snyder. He's exactly the same.
And he actually has red skin. He's like, why are they so pissed?
Yeah, what? It's a term of respect.
I'm a Martian, you dick. Oh my god, where the fuck did we go? Because we're not...
No, certainly not. Definitely don't listen to the encoded message section at the end of this podcast.
With your secret decoder ring.
It definitely will not be hypnotizing tone rays. I mean...
I could have just put a tone in there, but I decided to...
You know...
I'm a method actor.
It's
I'm a method alien. I invade the right way.
Yeah. You're like Martian Brando. There it is. Thank you.
I hated that so much. Oh my god.
I thought Martian Brando was pretty good.
That was good.
I was going back and forth. I was like, okay, there's two good method actors to pick for this joke. Marlon Brando, Daniel Day-Lewis. Can I do something with Daniel Day-Lewis? Not obviously. Move on. I'm like a quarterback reading through his progressions on the field. Like, all right, my main receiver covered. Okay, second receiver, he's getting open in the flat. Whoop, toss it to him. I don't think I threw a touchdown, but I picked up a solid 7 yards.
Yeah.
I'll take that. I'm moving the chains.
Your running back is gonna have his work cut out for him.
Fucking right.
And
But
that
only if he... As long as he doesn't play for the Twomans.
as long as he doesn't play for the Space Washington Twomans.
Washington Twomans.
Dan, give us a call.
Yeah, we, truly, I am happy to help you out of any PR disaster you create for yourself. You just have to ask, homie. You just have to ask.
Washington homies.
Oh my... Dude. If Washington... I know this is bad to hope for.
Oh no.
But I secretly hope that if the Washington Redskins do change their name, they change it to just something egregiously stupid like the Washington Homies. Just because I want to see what would happen. Like, would we finally have a full-scale, like, straight-up mini-revolution? I would probably revolt. I'd be like, this is just unacceptable in my life.
The only exception I would give that if they open up every game with "Rolling with the Homies,"
during which it's okay to kneel.
Yes,
but the anthem comes on, you stand up.
Wow.
Anyways, that's been my game.
All right, and maybe even a low key, very not low key way to have a premise for what's happening next. We were talking about football. Wink.